Hey everyone, there's been a fair bit of City news this week, so I figured I'd make a video to talk about it all. You can see here what I'll be talking about and when I'll be talking about it, so you can just skip to that bit if you came here just for a specific topic. Right, so let's talk about Leroy Sane first. The other day, as you might have heard, he's had a daughter. The kid's name's Rio Stella, and we first heard about this when it came out that he'd been allowed to leave Germany's national squad for personal reasons. And there was some speculation that there'd been another fallout because obviously he was left out of the World Cup squad, and people thought maybe the tensions were high there, and he's gone for bad reasons. But it just turns out it was for his daughter, obviously. But we've got to hope now that his performances will improve now that that's kind of a huge weight off his shoulder. I can't see how they'd get worse, really, unless he's being kept up all night by the baby or something, but that should be a big weight off his shoulders, and hopefully he'll be able to perform a lot better for us. I think the kid seems to be healthy and everything, which is good news, and hopefully he'll be back on top form soon and can get out of Pep's bad books, basically. But we'll just have to wait and see for that. It's tough to say at the moment. We'll just have to let his performances show us. Next up, we got some transfer news. City are in the running for both Ruben Neves and Frenkie De Jong. Obviously, we're not going to get both of them because we're not that rich, but yeah, we've got to figure out which one to go for. And from what I'm hearing, Barca are trying to get Frenkie De Jong, so that probably just answers the question of whether or not we'll get him. But if we do continue to chase him and maybe he considers coming to City, then that means Ruben Neves isn't coming to City, and it's a tough one who you'd pick out of them two, I think, because they're completely different players. If you watch clips of Frenkie De Jong, you see that obviously he's known for his dribbling, but he's very different to Ruben Neves in the sense that clips of Ruben Neves that you'll see, he's always got a lot of space around him, and he kind of thrives in that situation, and he kind of, say if he is dribbling, he'll float past people, and he's known for his long shots, long balls, stuff like that. As Frenkie De Jong, he'll run at defenders, and his dribbling, I don't think it's the prettiest dribbling because he kind of gets hit a lot as he's going through. He's not afraid to kind of collide with the opposition while he's dribbling, and you'll see it looks kind of scrappy sometimes. He's kind of a messy dribbler, whereas Ruben Neves is kind of, in my opinion, kind of a smoother dribbler. So they're different in that regard, and you've got to wonder whether De Jong's style of dribbling whether he'd get away with that in the Premier League, because obviously the Premier League's known for being very rough, and those kind of collisions that he's so open to having over in the Dutch league, it could be different over here. He might not have the physicality for it, but he is one of the hottest prospects in the world at the moment, so you got to imagine he'd do just fine. But it's something to consider, whereas Ruben Neves doesn't really have that concern, and he's kind of proven himself in the English leagues with being with Wolves, but you can't really say he's proven himself in the Premier League because he's only been there for a few games. But he's looked so good. He's looked good so far, so that's for sure. But I don't think we'll have much of a choice in the end, because I can't see De Jong coming here over Barca. Obviously we've got Pep, and that could entice a lot of players, but even then, when Barca are in the running, it's going to be tough to get any player to sign with you. So I can't see the De Jong transfer happening, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. And obviously any City fan would be happy to have any of them, because we need that defensive midfielder role filling very soon, with Fernandinho getting on in age, and we can't just rely on him that much. So hopefully we'll get one of them. I'm leaning towards Ruben Neves. I enjoy watching him play more, and I think he'd fit our system better based on what I said about De Jong. I'm just a bit uncertain about him, but obviously I don't watch the Dutch league that much. just from what I've seen, that was kind of a worry for me with the dribble, with how kind of open to physical confrontation, should I say, he is. Because just watch any clips of him and he's getting kind of clobbered, but always manages to keep the ball, which is a great talent and could come in very handy, but you don't know if it'd work as well in the Premier League. So hopefully we get one of them though, because that defensive midfielder role desperately needs filling. Sergio Aguero has been voted City's Etihad Player of the Month. He's got 5 goals, 1 assist, and hit the woodwork 3 times, according to City's website. Because I definitely wouldn't have known that he's hit the woodwork 3 times, but you do keep seeing him do that in the games. But I think it's well deserved, because when you think about it, 200th goal in the Community Shield game against Chelsea, and also the hat-trick against Huddersfield, it's tough to argue that it's undeserved. I don't think you'll get too many complaints about that. It's a good start to the season. Hopefully you won't be plagued by injuries, and you've got to hope that this form continues. It's been a few games now without goals, but such an incredible start to the month that he still managed to get Player of the Month. And hopefully we'll see his form continue, and many more Player of the Months incoming throughout the season, and hopefully in the Premier League in general, not just City's Etihad Player of the Month. He got 61% of the votes, and Mendy came third. I can't remember who came second, but yeah, we've had quite a few players that have played well, but Aguero takes it, and yeah, hopefully he can continue this form. And finally, we've got the news that Pep has implemented a ban on mobile phones in the training ground, and he's got a new fine system in place for anyone that's trying to challenge these new rules. If the players have got any sense, then they're going to abide by it, because the fact that he's dropped Leroy Sane in the last game after he was the young player of the season last season just shows that anyone with any sort of attitude problems is getting sorted out. I don't think any of the players can be complaining about this, to be honest, because it's their work. They've got, everyone knows footballers have got a cushy job with these insane incomes, and for them to just be on the phones all the time, and to the point where it's actually an issue and he needs to put a ban in place, is just kind of ridiculous, to be honest. And someone pointed out on City's subreddit that you can see in the All or Nothing documentary that while Pep's, in the cinema room giving talks about the game plans for the next match, the players can be seen on the phones while he's talking, and just the level of disrespect to do that is just unbelievable. You've got to realise how lucky they are to have Pep as a manager, and to be going on your phone in that situation instead of listening to what this footballing genius has to say. It's just quite stupid, to be honest. And hopefully this ban, it's silly even talking about it, because the fact that he's had to put a ban on mobile phones for these adults is just quite stupid. But I don't see how it can be a bad thing. If it's really been an issue, then good riddance to the mobile phones, and Mendy may be picking up a few fines, but hopefully I think he'll be okay to pay for them, but surely no one will be actually paying the fines, because I don't think they're that addicted to the phones, and it is work at the end of the day, so you should definitely stay off the phones. That's it for this video. I think I've covered everything in the week that was of any significance. There's a few other things like Yaya Toure going to Olympiacos, but it's not too much to say at that point. It's not too big of a loss to us at this point in his career. But that's it for the main things, and I should have a few more videos coming out soon. Going to be doing some match previews for some upcoming games. And the video I talked about last week, saying on my other channel where I do music related content, I've got my first video out on there, so I'd appreciate it if you went and check that out if you're into music. And yeah, that's it for this one.